Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach,
And I'm Pepper.
and today we're back with another episode of Take My Money, where we look at some current Kickstarter game found projects that are going on, relating to board games, and kind of give our thoughts, what we think, if we're backing them or if we're not, which is most of them. When we look at them, don't back that many games,
Look
but
at about 10 a week, so I'll be back in a lot of projects.
that would be backing a lot of projects. And I feel like there's a lot of them that we don't even look at or don't even hit with these. So there's probably even more out there. So let us know in the comments below which ones you're currently backing, or if it's any of these, or if there's any other ones we should be taking a look at based on maybe the ones that we think look interesting here, um, based on our taste, I should say.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, yeah, subscribe to the channel if you like these, or let us know what kind of content you like. I know we tend to do these about every week or every other week. It kind of just depends on the projects. But this week we're starting off with looks like all the Game Found projects, Game
Yes.
Found heavy right off the bat, and then into
Yep,
the
yeah.
Kickstarters. And this was one that I was not aware was happening. This first one, Fox Experiment, Deluxe Wooden Edition, which the Fox Experiment comes from the Wingspan designer Elizabeth Hargrave, but it comes from Pandasaurus Games, not Stonemaier Games. And yeah, this one came out last year, I think.
I believe so,
Or was
yeah.
it the year before? I know that it's been talked
It's
about for a
it's
while,
been
but
talked about for a long time. I think it was last year. I'm not sure.
yeah. So yeah, we've played this one. I think we both liked it quite a bit. We have a video actually. We didn't realize it. We just put out a unboxing and first impression video. Wasn't our best quality one. The microphone and stuff
Away
didn't
from
sound the
studio,
greatest, but
so it was.
you can check it out if you want to see our thoughts on it. But yeah, this one is still doing pretty well, even
Yeah,
though, like I said, I didn't know that it was even a thing happening. I feel like there was like
yeah.
no ads on it. I We were looking kind of at other ones and saw that pop up, and I thought, oh, when is this gonna happen? And I'm like, oh, it's happening right now.
Yeah, yeah,
And
it's crazy. I so this is deluxe wooden edition, so you can get the game again, uh, or for the first time, and you can get more wooden components in this than there were in the original. I believe these foxes are wooden in the base game that was already there, but the dice now as well are going to be wooden instead of plastic, which they're already pretty nice dice.
mhm,
Uh, Maybe
custom.
Elizabeth Hargrave just is obsessed with wooden dice because Wingspan has those awesome wooden dice. And it's hard to imagine these dice as wooden. Obviously,
It really is
these
because they
are,
have a very plastic look to them with
yeah,
the
they
colors
do,
used.
they do. As well as all the different, usually just cardboard little pop-up pieces are going to be wooden. These gear point trackers or gear tokens, those are wooden in the base game already.
Hmm.
But these supply tokens, pretty much all the cardboard little bits, will be wooden in this version, which
Hmm.
I think that's a pretty nice upgrade, especially for all these trade tokens. There's a lot
Yeah,
of them, and
yeah.
you do
There's
some
a lot
plug out.
of little pieces in this one, so yeah, it is a nice little upgrade for sure. I wouldn't say that it's probably necessary. If you haven't played the game, don't know for sure if it'd be one you like, but it's definitely if it's one of your favorite games, those could be really, really cool. And yeah, they look really solid. I'm sure it'll be a great production. I think Pandasaurus Games usually does a pretty good job with production in games, so I would be pretty surprised if it ended up not feeling quality. So,
Yeah, yeah.
especially yeah, being wooden. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Mostly.
I don't know that it's something that I necessarily am going to go out of my way to go get an upgrade pack, but
Yeah, so that's going to be 35 bucks to
mhm,
upgrade. I think it already looks good. I mean, it's going to look the same. I mean, it'll
mhm,
be slightly different, but I think the production is pretty good. Like you said, they're all their base games from Panda Stars are usually a pretty good production, even in cardboard state. Those tokens, still good artwork, good color. I don't know if it's necessary. Maybe if it was like we played it more and more and really
mhm.
did. love the game and is one of our all-time favorites, maybe, but
Right.
yeah, I don't think we'll be getting it, and
Right.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's lower on the list of games to upgrade in our collection.
Yeah. I would agree. Even though yes, the wooden is definitely a nice upgrade versus cardboard in almost every situation. I think there's very few times where I would prefer cardboard over wooden bits. So, uh, but yeah, this I don't know that it's necessarily needed. I don't know. Maybe people were asking for it. I have no idea if this was something people were asking for, um, or where they got the idea to make it an all wooden one. I'm not sure. I guess maybe they said didn't read everything in their whole Kickstarter, just kind of looked at a lot of the
Yeah,
pictures and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe they explained why they did this, but
yeah, yeah. And
yeah,
if you want to play, if you're like, you only play 5, 6 players, they have an expansion for that in here as
yes,
well. So
yeah,
yeah, it's a good game for sure, and I'm glad it's still doing well. It's not totally funded yet, but with 9 days left at the time of filming, hopefully they are able to hit that and
yep.
get more out there and maybe get some actual good expansion stuff out soon for us.
There we
That I
go.
am interested in.
Right. Ooh, and then we've got this one coming from Game Brewer, who I tend to usually love the look of their games and get pulled in, um, especially their box covers. But this one isn't doing it for me as much, I would say. I don't know. There's something about it. Algae Inc. It's not terrible, but it's just not
Yeah,
one that I'm like. I feel like they've had like Stroganoff and
yeah,
Hi- Hippocrates or something. I think they've had another one too. A few of them that I really like the look of them, but then I don't end up haven't ever backed one of their games, but
yeah,
I know none of them have really like hit big. It seems like any of their games. So then I've not really ended up getting any later on. But yeah,
yeah.
this one is the kind of the first one they put out where I'm like really just not interested based on the box cover.
Not into it. Not into LJ.
No, I don't know what it is about it.
Interesting. So this is you all work for this corporation, whatever, using LJ, turning them into different products. So one of you will be turning them into possibly food or plastics or fuel. You're covering different aspects and kind of producing goods to then
Mhm.
sell in slightly different ways, maybe very asymmetric ways. I'm not sure, but sounds like each one has kind of a different path of production, which I
Mhm.
like for variable player powers, uh, while not being like a combat type game, which is
Right.
more suited toward variable player powers. If you can get that in a Euro, I assume a Euro game here, then
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And I'll say it sounded like a lot of the things in it sounded like some fun things that I typically tend to like. A lot of kind of that engine type thing, yeah, building things up throughout the game and um, having to kind of maybe get rid of some things in order to upgrade others and things like that. So a lot of that stuff sounds really cool to me, and you're adding like engineers to make those more powerful each time you actually take those actions and stuff. A lot of that stuff sounds really cool, but then yeah, too the I don't know something about the whole board and stuff. Don't love the look of that much either. This part, I guess, is probably my favorite looking part of it, but then kind of the rest of it looks just a little bit blah, I think. But sounds like the actual gameplay could be pretty fun for me, but um, at the same time, it does sound like just another kind of Euro game where you're trying to produce certain things in order to
Yeah.
turn those into victory points in different ways. Um, so it's hard to say whether or not this one will stand above the rest. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
that's the big thing. If it's not like a theme or a look that's really drawing you in, the gameplay, it seems solid. Seems like another good one, but I mean, is it gonna really be that different or that stand out for us? Probably not enough to back it currently, but maybe
Right.
eventually this will be a big hit and we'll have to check it out. But yeah, right now it wasn't anything that interesting to me. I mean, I like this that you could kind of have custom order where you slot in these
Yep.
pieces to that board, but as well. I think this is kind of like a little path similar to Arnak, Lost Ruins of Arnak. I think maybe you're moving
Mm,
up this track, going different options. I don't know if that feels that variable. It's just
right.
different bonuses at different times in different places. So maybe it feels different from game to game, but
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Couldn't really tell, but yeah, that is a cool. That's another cool feature in it. I do like that they only have the one pledge level, just
yep,
the 60 euros,
yep,
which isn't awful. I think their games have always kind of been around that price. That's why I don't end up backing them. I don't know if it's that big of a discount over what they end up selling them for after the fact. It looks like it's supposed to deliver October this year, so probably will. I know they've made quite a few games, so I'm guessing it should be within reason. So yeah,
yeah.
then what is the shipping on this
It'll
one?
be another
Yeah,
six,
another 20 euros.
20 euros. Yeah. So
So staying up
it's
there again for a Euro game that kind of looks and feels like a lot of Euro games out there. But then you can also back a lot of these other things if you did miss one of their games.
yeah,
I guess the amygdala cover didn't do it for me either.
yeah,
I have to, uh, I have to say that one wasn't probably my favorite looking one either. But that one is definitely trying to. I mean, it's
yeah.
going to
It's
appeal to certain people.
yeah,
It's not
it's yeah,
necessarily one that everyone's going to love. But I think, yeah, this one too was just a little surprising to me. I thought it would maybe be doing a little bit better than it is.
yeah. I think it's just a few euros short currently of
Oh yeah, if we pledged right now,
42.
we could put them
Yeah,
over.
you can put them over, and then it's free for us. I think.
I think so. If we do it live on video, I think
Yes.
that'll be free. I'll send a video to them.
We got Under Our Sun, which you're exploring. Something went on. An asteroid hit the sun, malfunctions. Now Earth is desolate landscape, and you're exploring, trying to survive. You're one of the few moral factions left on the Earth. You are moving around, doing little objectives, collecting resources, getting items, different things like that. Feels familiar, theme wise and kind of gameplay.
Yeah, it does. It does kind of feel familiar.
Yeah,
I really like the look of the cover on this one.
yeah, yeah.
So that kind of drew me in. This one, yeah, it's got about a week to go. It's
Yeah. Pretty
doing
well. 12,000.
decently well. 112,739
Yeah.
backers. But yeah, then the actual gameplay. I mean, it could be kind of maybe a good thing for it, but the gameplay seemed kind of simple, a little simple to me. Like it seemed pretty
Yeah.
straightforward of just moving and getting,
There.
putting out those different cubes and then using those cubes to either, complete cards or do whatever. Um, it
Yeah.
seemed like it was more of an approachable, simple thing. So I thought, well, maybe that would work out in a cool way if you're doing that. But
Yeah, just seeing this, I'm like, okay, those three colored cubes, that matches the cost up here. Okay, I'm following this. I understand
right,
this. So,
right. So but maybe it's not that simple. But then I was wondering if that would be too simple or if it'd be kind of random if you are placing, because I couldn't tell, were you placing those tiles randomly and then just flipping them over as you're exploring?
might have been a setup or like a scenario type thing. Not sure.
Mhm. And you're fighting enemies and stuff with different
Yeah.
things. So I think if there actually is a simplicity to it, this
Yeah.
could be a potential good one in that sense. Um, but yeah, I think the artwork looks decent in this one. It reminds me a little bit of Dune, a Dune
Oh,
world.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I don't know that it's one that I would necessarily back. I think if I remember right, the price was
Core pledge is going to
a
be
little bit much.
67 euros. Otherwise, go up and get the miniatures for the characters, I believe, at
Hmm.
85 euros. Otherwise, get additional heroes in the game for 124 euros. Or another dice set and booklet or whatever that has for 147, which is getting up there, especially
Yeah,
for to get the extra characters, which I think feels like a pretty important addition if they are pretty variable.
Right. Yeah, that's the tough part. And then even having to like not even getting the four minis in the base version,
Oh,
having to pay an extra uh, amount just to get to that 85 level.
yeah,
I don't know. I kind of wish that it that just came in the base, came with the base, but
yeah.
that is what it is. And then yeah, there's a couple add-on things you can get as well.
That digital soundtrack.
The neoprene mat, as you need in every Kickstarter.
Yes, yes. Um, but yeah, and then shipping is all the different versions. Going to be up to 20 euros as well, up to 22.
Yeah,
So
so then it's getting up
yeah,
there to
typical.
be $100 some game, and I don't know that quite looked up to the quality of being $100 worth, but
Yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
don't.
but like you said, if it can be kind of an approachable version of one of those type of
Yeah,
games, I'd really be interested.
yeah. I think for kind of looking at like what it is, I'm a little interested in it. Like I would play this one if someone else had it,
Yeah, yeah,
because I think it would be approachable.
yeah.
So
And it's a robot fighting time, as Farouk would say, in Robot Quest Arena bot battle. So,
this
I
one's doing this one's doing quite well.
quite
Five
well.
hundred
I was
thousand
surprised. I
dollars,
was surprised. Yep,
2,400 backers. Yeah, when I
$500,000.
saw that, I was like, "What? How is this doing so well?"
Yeah. I didn't know that it was a pre-existing game,
I didn't know that either.
so that probably helps. But then also the price does help bring that total up for sure, as you'll see. But
Yes.
you do get some pretty amazing miniatures in the game, pre-painted, I believe.
Hmm.
And this is a robot battler. If you've ever seen battle bots, you get this arena floor, and you send your robots out there, and they're attacking each other. And point of this game is to deal as much damage to earn victory points throughout the game. If you do run out of health, you respawn, which I like. It's
Hmm.
not just pure player elimination, from the
I
sound of
like that
it at
too.
least.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is one of my favorite games I played this year so far, just in terms of sheer joy. Vassal. Well, there you go.
Yeah. And I think a part of it is it sounds like it's very very approachable. The rule set is very approachable, and I thought at first, just because robot games in general tend to be programming games, I thought this was a
Yeah,
programming game, but it is not. It is more of a deck builder type
yeah,
game,
yeah. So
which got
I
me a
like
lot
deck
more
building.
interested than I was originally in this one because I was like, surprise some programming. You're gonna have to, battle and put these, and you're probably manipulating other players' sets or whatever. But that is not at all what the game is. You're just trying to do some damage, and like Pepper said, you don't actually get eliminated. Even if you lose all your health, you just kind of respawn. The other player gets your health and points pretty much.
Yeah, yep.
And yeah, you just keep going. So yeah, I'm actually a little more interested in this one than I would have originally thought. But then I saw the price tag and I was like, it's maybe a little too simple for the price tag.
Yeah, so if you don't have anything, want to get the base game, $69. If you have the base game, I believe, want the new robots in this one, which is four new robots, that's going to be $89. Which I was trying to add that together. I'm like, wait, this doesn't make any sense, but I guess it works. And if you want everything
Is that
new,
what it was? Because I was a little confused by this as
yeah,
well.
I was confused. I had to look at it a bit. So I'm not sure how many are in the original. It might be three, but I think it's a four-player
Yeah,
game. But I've only seen three additional in as
right. And
opposed to
then
these.
and at the top, I'm pretty sure it says up to 11 players, and I'm like, where's there 11 robots?
Hmm.
I don't know. But then they
Maybe
showed
there's
up. I
more.
think they showed a big box then too, and it had like spaces for all these robots, and they were only
Oh
able to
yeah,
fill in part of them. So I'm like,
yeah,
okay, well they're definitely planning for more content
yeah,
then.
yeah. So yeah, that big box. If you need the big box, with everything new, $159, which is quite a bit. But you get extra big arenas, so making room for more players to play at once. And if you want all bots, so the base game with, I assume, these 3 on the bottom here. I think these 4 up top were already shown. So that's 219, which I'm like, okay, this is getting very expensive, and I'm not seeing like just an amazing amount of extra content to warrant it,
Right.
or all in for 329 bucks. And I'm like, dang it, I was kind of interested in this one, and
Yeah.
feels like a game where you want to get a bunch of stuff and mix it all together. And sadly, that's just probably a little too expensive for not knowing and for it being a lighter game. While I do like it,
I would agree.
it's yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, if I was gonna get it, I'd have to look into it more. Maybe you do get enough stuff with just the base stuff, but yeah. We tend to be kind of a little bit of not necessarily completionists, but get most of everything if we're gonna get into something like this.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just seems very spendy, but I guess I don't know what it costs to make those
Yeah.
things and what you actually get. Because I think when I was listening to Tom's review, he said he got like 2 sets of something or 2 somethings, and like opened them up and you get all this new content. So I'm like,
Oh yeah, they
maybe I don't fully understand what
do have
this
a
game
couple
is, but
promo packs here, so I guess yeah, I'm not sure exactly.
that
Oh,
seems more like cards and stuff. So I don't
yeah.
know if you're actually getting more robots or if you're just getting more cool cards and stuff. Because then they were talking about defensive cards and
Oh,
all
okay.
the good stuff.
All that good. And shipping, actually, I mean, okay, it's 20 base for that for US here for even the lowest pledge, but it only goes up to 25 for
If
the
you go
all
all
in.
in,
If you go all in, doesn't increase that much, so I guess that's a win.
you're already locked in on the shipping. Might as well go all in.
Is
But
what.
no,
Yeah.
I'll give this one more. Well, estimated shipping June 2025, so it's a bit out there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I will say it looks more interesting than I had originally thought,
Yeah.
but a little pricey.
Yeah. And another one which I've been seeing around forever on
I
BGG.
agree.
Uh,
I thought this was already out, and I thought this was Vitel Lacerda. It's
it
what it
looks like
feels like. It's what it feels like, or looks like.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is Vitel Lacerda, and it's been out. You could have told me that, and I would have believed you. Eagle Griffin is what yeah, you could have told me this was. And I said,
And
okay.
no wonder it feels like that. They've probably been having this on Kickstarter for 5 months because it has accumulated 6,000, over 6,000 backers. My goodness,
I'll tell you where they got those 6,000 backers
where'd
and
they
six
get
hundred
this?
$59,000, and a week to go. You scroll down just a little bit. Don't go too far. Who do we got a quote from right
Oh
there?
my goodness. Galactic Cruise is true masterpiece and labor of love from this talented group of designers, Shem Phillips of Garfield Games. Okay, it makes all sense.
I didn't, I didn't, wasn't like overly interested in this one necessarily until I saw Shem had commented on it. Then I'm like, okay, now I've got to give this one a look.
Gonna deliver
A
on
little bit
time.
more of a look. It's going to deliver on time, as we always say. If Shem has a quote,
Yes.
it has to.
Yeah,
Shem
this
always
one,
does.
this one actually, I mean, it's going to be more complicated than I'm going to overly enjoy, I think. But I like the idea of it as you're building these spaceships that are cruise ships and adding in different little things like a pizza city, whatever location into your ship and attracting different visitors, different customers to join, and then actually going on the cruise probably feels like a lot of other games, but I like the thematic tie. It's just fun. It's like running a zoo type of thing.
Hmm. Yeah. When I was looking at this one, it definitely looks like a game that I would enjoy. But yeah, at the same time, it's kind of another one. Kind of reminds me of what I think of LG, where it's like I don't. This one could be an all-time great for me, or it could just be, another Euro game that is good, but
Yeah,
maybe doesn't do anything necessarily to stand out from the rest. Might just be one of those that's like, I'll play it if people want to play it type game, or
yeah, yeah.
else it will likely just sit on the shelf waiting to be played the next time type thing. It won't be one that I'm like, oh gosh, I got to play this over and over.
Yeah.
But
At least it's got a good cover for sitting on that shelf.
it does have a really good cover. One of those Vital Lacerda, Ian O'Toole type cover. It's not Ian O'Toole, is it? Because doesn't he do a lot of the Vital Lacerda game?
I was thinking it must be Ian O'Toole because yeah, that's what I've been thinking. Vital Lacerda, Ian O'Toole, but I'm not sure who actually does the artwork here.
We haven't even named the actual designer. Poor guy.
Let's see if we can find out.
A girl.
But yeah, so if you want this base game, I believe here for $89, base game with board, still screen printed. A lot of great screen printed meeples in this one. Or you can get an advancement expansion along with it, bring it up to 104. Or if you want the other expansion instead, the accommodations, that's also 104. Or you can get both the expansions, make it 119, or both the expansions, obviously the base game, and some special upgraded pieces for 129. And then they start doing this. I've seen this a few times now. So you get all that stuff, and then future games and expansions. So it means that you'll receive all future Instant Key games releases, including all upcoming games and expansions, excluding optional content, component upgrades. You'll be responsible for shipping. I'm like, okay, are you just planning on releasing one more game and then you're calling it quits? Is this a trick? Right where my mind goes, stupid dog. That's too good of a deal.
Right.
And then that and more things. You get prototype, even more. You can go up to $14.99 and become a board member, get in some of the company's meetings, get your name on some books.
Go sign autographs.
And throw
meet Ian O'Toole and Vital Lacerda.
But yeah, it looks cool. I like the theme, but making me think a little bit of, I like the running a business theme in games. So something like Predaporter.
That was the one I was thinking of when I was looking at this game. That's what it made me think of most. And
so
I could like this quite a bit if it does feel like that, because I do like that one quite a bit.
Feels a little heavier, or not as easy to grasp. I feel like that one's really well tied to the theme, to where even someone like me who's not really into those heavy crunchy games, I actually like that one. Same with like Dinosaur Island and World. Hopefully this can do that and just be a smooth play and just feel intuitive with the actions you're doing, because it does look like it could be very complicated.
Yes, I 100% agree.
Shipping, not too bad, 15 to 17.
And that one, I think it started more, and then since they've had so much money, I think they've dropped it by 4 or paid for it themselves, essentially through the funds they've gotten, which is really cool.
Yeah. Veiled Fate Tribunal. So an expansion to a game that exists. I've seen this around forever as well. Also 6,000 backers, $834,000, and this is, what do they call it? A strategic deduction game. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say social deduction, but yes, you're right. They call it strategic deduction.
Yes, that's the only term that fits this game. So you have different people out on the board, workers, whatever, and you can all control all of them. But you secretly have one that you want to win, and that's who you are, I guess. And you are trying to maneuver them to have the most victory points at the end of the game, which is kind of true. It's social deduction, but also just a strategic point game at the end of the day is how you win, which is pretty cool. I think I like that concept. I guess, did we look at this one originally when it came out? I forget.
I don't remember if we did or not. I don't think so either.
But yeah, this
we probably saw deduction and then just assume, because it goes to so many players, we probably just assumed. And I still am kind of thinking that it probably plays better at higher player counts, and that's just not typically what we play at. All the time. But maybe this could be one that it would work.
Sadly, I think it probably is better at higher player counts. They say you can play it too, so maybe it works. But yeah, this also includes a bunch of expansions to it. I think 3 big ones and a few smaller ones as well. You can get a wood board version, exclusive here. Get a little deluxe city for the middle. Get some metal minis. Which I'm like, oh boy, that's getting fancy.
Getting
But yeah,
pretty fancy.
I'd like to try it sometime, but I think it's probably going to be better for bigger groups, like you said.
Yeah, this is one that I'd maybe if people were playing it at a convention or something, I'd like to join in and try it. Even just the base game, maybe not
Yeah,
necessarily the expansions. Because yeah, I'm sure they add a lot of good stuff too. And it looks like you can get the base game and
yeah,
with everything if you haven't gotten it before.
yeah. Yeah.
Like you said,
That's
I think they had a wooden board, which I think is going to be your best chance to get that.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know if they sell that outside of Kickstarter. So if you really like the game and you didn't get that the first time,
yeah, yeah.
it's a lot of money, but
A lot of money, but it feels like a game that
when
can be.
is that one delivering? February 25, so about a year out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
should be.
I think Ivy Studios does a pretty good job at delivery.
Yeah,
But you'll also see Ivy Studios a lot on YouTube ads. That's where I've
oh,
seen
yeah,
this one many times.
yeah.
But I think they have another part of their company, if I remember right, because at the bottom I think they mentioned like Nike and all these other
Oh,
big
yeah.
companies. And at first, when I say that, I'm like, Nike? What are they doing with Nike? How is
Nike,
Nike involved in this
Nike
game?
extensions.
But then we get to our next one
Probably
here,
not
and that
involved with Nike. Super
Super Boss
Boss.
Monster.
Even more backers. This blew me away. I'm like,
It's a
what?
big week.
It is a big week. Oh, over 7,500 backers.
That
700.
shocked me too. That shocked me too. I feel like I've seen like the Boss Monster artwork and stuff, but I didn't know it was that popular of a thing. Apparently, it really is. And yeah, I think it sounds like it's a game where you're creating a dungeon and you're trying to make it both appealing yet deadly.
Yeah,
So that sounded kind of cool.
yeah.
Um,
A twist on it. Instead of going into the dungeon as the hero, you are the bad person, monster, luring them in, taking them down. Which is cool. It's got a cool look, like a PC game here.
mhm.
Uh, I
Yeah.
like it. I don't know this base. No, another one later is based on a video game. I don't think this is.
Oh, yeah. I don't
Or is
know if this
this?
is or not. I'm not sure
I'm
if
not
this
sure.
is or not. But yeah,
Oh
you can
yeah,
get just the Minion Pledge just for $30, which seems like a pretty good deal.
because yeah,
Um,
Deluxe has a neoprene mat, which is essential, and some wooden heart tokens for 45, which only $15 more is actually pretty good. Neoprene
if you
mats
do
can
want
be
the
pretty
neoprene
expensive.
mat, right? So
Uh,
yeah, if you do like neoprene mats, we
yeah,
we just joke we don't usually get neoprene mats because we don't really have a good way to store them. So
yeah,
if you
but
do
they are
like them,
nice. They are
there.
nice. Or you get the base game, or no, not the base game. You get the big box and the deluxe edition. The big box would give you exclusive card set, 5 6 player extension board, 2 extra meeples, or the Dwayne the Rock Johnson final boss pledge, which gets you all
Got
that.
electricity coming down.
All that for $90 plus 4 neoprene player mats, which I guess I didn't see any player mats in the previous thing. So if you need to know where to put your cards, this is a
There you
good
go.
this will be a good guide for you. Or Ultimate Starter, get all the previous expansions, I believe, as well as this Boss Monster, Super Boss Monster, and Big Box, I believe, for 175 bucks.
Mhm.
So it gets to be a bit much, but
Yeah. I thought if you wanted to just get the newest one and
yeah,
not add on anything, I thought the $30, and I think that if I remember
it's
right,
pretty
shipping
good.
was like $10. I don't think that's too bad for a Kickstarter project these days. It's
Yeah,
pretty reasonable.
yeah,
Um, but
yeah,
I
it's
guess I
pretty.
don't. I've never got the original game, so I don't know. Maybe the original game's really, really cheap, and maybe that is a bad price. I have no idea. Like maybe this is going to be $15 somewhere down the road. I have no idea
Yeah, maybe.
what the value on this one is exactly, but sounds interesting.
Yeah. And now another one with thousands of backers, over 3,000 backers.
The hits just keep
Armello,
coming.
the board game. So this one is based on a video game that they say implemented board game mechanics into it. And now it's come full circle and is actually a board game.
As they expected when they first did it. But yeah, this one's doing pretty well again. I think I can see why it's well. First off, probably because it has the video game. I don't know how
Yeah,
popular that is. I've never played that, so I don't have any connection to this one. But that probably helps, obviously. And
yeah, yeah.
then yeah, it does look pretty good as well. So I could definitely see people uh, thinking that this one was one they'd want to back.
Yeah, this be different animals and battle. That's a pretty popular thing in games nowadays, and this is another one of those pledge
Hmm.
levels for standard edition. I guess yeah, what's all in this one? Looks like quite a bit. Got some nice miniatures, a lot of good artwork. Although this might be the deluxe version, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's going to be $79 plus any stretch goals with that mark, or else 109 for the collector's edition, which includes a nice little cardboard castle. Or you can go into the everything edition, which includes a bunch of fancier dice and wooden screen printed components, some enamel pins, some I think alternate artwork for a card there. So
They're just doing a
yes,
Fox experiment thing right off the bat. They're just
yeah,
getting the wooden part right
those out there.
out of the way right away. It's like that's the first thing we got to do is offer wooden components. Uh,
Yes, the minis are nice. I like the colored
I like
minis.
I do like the look of these. I wonder if this is what they'll actually look like in real life. I'm not sure
Oh,
because they do kind of have that almost a almost a glow to them.
yeah,
Um,
they do.
so I wonder if that will actually come across when you're playing it, or if it won't kind of have quite the same look.
Yeah,
But yeah, they look pretty good, like the
custom
colored ones.
dice. Always love custom dice in games and a bunch of cards.
Hmm.
Looks like a lot of really good artwork. Yeah, this one, I forget, was this? This is not cooperative, I don't think. Or is it?
Nah,
No, I don't think so.
I don't believe this one was cooperative, but I
No.
think this one had the that exploding dice combat
Yes.
mechanism mechanic, which I tend to like in games.
Yeah. Do we have that many games with that?
We do not,
I always hear it and I'm
but I
like,
like
oh,
the
that sounds
idea.
cool. And I'm like, have I actually even played any? I don't know.
But
But yeah.
yeah, and then yeah, a lot of the artwork looks good. It kind of makes me think a little bit of Everdoe, but
Yeah.
it isn't. But I'm guessing a lot of animal themed games kind of get that a little bit of a reaction. But yeah, I think this one looks kind of good. Uh, I don't know. It, during the game, you're going and kind of doing some quests and
Yeah.
stuff, fighting some things. I didn't know if that sounded like it'll end up being as interesting or not because some of them have like multiple locations you could go to, and then you just have to look at the time which one you're furthest away from, and then go to that one versus you could be right next to the other one. I don't know how that will actually feel when you're playing the game. Um,
Yeah. 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 It seems a kind of simple
mhm.
for the quests. Like, didn't look like that specific, or at least I didn't look too deeply into it. Just go to a certain location and you do it,
Mhm.
and other people kind of know the area where you're going overall,
Right,
but not the specific place. But I did
right.
like once you did complete it, you got some instant bonuses, and then
Mhm.
slot it into your character to up your stats and some kind of victory points or whatever those are, prestige
Mhm.
points. I like that. I just like it's just satisfying to see it slotted in there and increasing your health or your attack.
Yeah, I always like that in
Simple as
games too, and it's just a easy, simple thing of upgrading your player, sliding it under there, giving you extra stats. Um, but yeah, and then this was the one that had the extra win condition. You could go after the
oh yeah.
right.
So
That's
yeah,
it was this one.
once you get like 30 points, and then you can
Mhm.
choose to go and battle like the king, I'm assuming in the castle or whatever, or
Got to
just
get 70, I
first
think.
person to 70 points, which I'm like, that's a big difference.
That is.
I'm like, is it going to be twice as long to get there? Or is it just going to kind of snowball at a
Right.
certain point getting points? But I'm like, I wonder how often you get to 70, which one's more frequent, and just how
Yeah.
hard the boss is to take out. Because yeah, that seems like a big difference, more than twice as much points for that.
Right. And was this the one that had the 2 to 3 hours on it? So I was like, oh boy, a lot of games don't usually say that they're,
2 to 3 hours. I didn't see that.
which a lot of games will not put that kind of 3 hour mark on a game. So I wonder if that
Hmm.
means it'll even be longer than that, or if it's an actual true
It's
time period.
changing my thoughts on the game a little bit. I thought this was going to be a pretty quick, approachable one. But 2 to 3 hours. I guess that's how long it takes to get 70 points.
So an hour and a half to get going and get to the 30, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, this one could definitely be good. I would try this one if someone had it. I don't know that I would back it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but I think overall it looks like a good
You don't
one.
want the guppy pin?
I don't think I want the
Put it in.
guppy pin.
Plug it in. Apparently a thing in the video game. It keeps
It
showing up
must be.
here. But not a plushie, sadly, I don't think.
Yeah, they haven't learned that one yet. I don't think we've had one of those yet this week. It's
No.
unfortunate. How
Don't.
is Hort Gully going to get any buddies at this rate?
What's his name?
Hort Gully. I don't know if that's what he is or if that's his name.
What's his name
I
now?
call him Gully.
Old Gully. Gulliver.
Old Gulla. Gulliver's Travels.
And 25 shipping here, I guess. Yeah, did we have what was the price here? So yeah, 79, 109 for some more deluxe bonus, or with even more deluxe bonus, 150 starts to be a lot.
It's getting up there.
Yeah, and
April
I thought,
2025 estimated delivery. This is their first, I think it was their first game. So
yeah,
it's always, seems like a bigger project. So hopefully it'll all be able to deliver on time. But
yeah,
yeah, I'm sure if people are fans of it, they'll know that they
yeah,
want that one.
yeah.
And then we
And
got
another,
bringing back two games, I believe, that were
yeah,
previously done, and don't think I'd heard of either of the games. So I don't know if that makes it a good thing or a bad thing necessarily. But yeah, it's Kraftwagen, Age of Engineering, and Dragon's Gold. Uh,
yes,
and I did
and
not see it's by a renowned author, Matthias Kramer of Glenmore 2, Watergate, and other
yes.
games.
So
Well,
you,
Kraftwagen is.
and yeah, you were even looking through it, and you're like, this has reminded me of Glenmore too, and now it
That's what I
makes
thought.
sense.
I was gonna be a fool until you told me that. You're like, oh, Glenmore 2 designer. I don't know if you had looked at how it was played at
I
that
didn't
point.
look too
So we
closely.
came together and
Yes.
worked on that. But yeah, so the center area is a kind of rondel action selection, where whoever's in the backmost spot will get to do the next action, and they'll just keep going. So if you really want to do a certain type of action, you can go way ahead, but then you're leaving a bunch of open actions behind you, so someone could potentially snap off, two, three different actions before passing you, without any worry. So I always like that in games, where you can
Yeah.
go. What is it called? Like a round out river down the river mechanism type
Yeah.
thing, where you can go forward but not back necessarily once you go past something. But in this one, technically, you're going to get another chance at once of your turn, because the actions just kind of get pushed back then into the frontmost spot,
Yeah.
kind of replacing. But yeah, and then you're also racing a car around. So it just seems like an interesting theme. I don't know. It just feels like it kind of comes together. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
It-
I'm a little more interested in this one than I thought I would be when I initially looked at it, but the same time, I don't know if I have enough interest to go get it. I already really love Glenmore too, so I
yeah.
don't know. Um, that I'd have
Yeah,
to
this
have both necessarily.
yeah, this one kind of felt a little similar to some of the other games we covered, kind of running a business, creating these
Mhm.
cars, getting specialists or selling them, different things like that. But yeah, this one does. I do like that gear or that rondel mechanism. That's a really great way to handle any drafting selection of items and
Action.
tiles. I love that in all the games because it's just, is it worth it? Is it worth it to give them multiple turns in a row? It's just cool.
Hmm. Yeah, 100% agree. So maybe I might have to look into this one a little bit more, especially since it is kind of coming back. So there should be more content, I assume, out there on the original. I don't know if they made a bunch of changes or not. But that way, maybe I can see maybe it is one of those hidden gems, but I feel like it's not one I've heard of before, talked about.
Yeah. And that is $60
So,
for
yep.
that. And then the other one is Bruno Faduti, Dragon's Gold. You didn't even look at this one when you were
I looked at it. I
with
like the
these.
artwork, but I
The
didn't
artwork is
really
nice.
understand what we're doing. You're attacking the dragons.
Yeah, it sounds like you are teaming up and attacking these dragons, and once you defeat them, I think then all the contributing fighters have a minute to divide the treasures, the gem tokens that are received from defeating the monster, which I don't know what that's going to be like. Probably not that fitting to our group. Just
Right.
debating, being like, oh, I want these ones, you take those. And obviously, if you don't agree, then it will be thrown away and go to
No.
waste.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that's quite our group's
yeah,
kind
could
of
be
game,
cool, but
and
yeah, just not
yeah,
for us.
I'm guessing this one's probably better at higher player counts as well, which we tend to play a lot at 2 to 3. Uh, so I think out of these two, we'd probably be better off if we got one getting Kraftwagen. But I could see that one being cool. I just don't know if it would, yeah, work for our group. That it wouldn't be one I think that gets played as much, um, just very
Yeah,
occasionally.
yeah, and
And
that
how
would
much is that
be
one?
a little cheaper at $28, or get them both for 82. And that is going for September of this year, 2024.
So pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah. And a game that we have a little bit of content on. We did a try before you buy. So we played this game online at Board Game Arena. Talked about it and our thoughts on that digital implementation, a little bit on the game, and we'll probably
Mhm.
share a little more our thoughts on the game on this one. And it's another nature themed game. Get these critters, and who better to draw these critters than the artist Andrew Bosley Bosley. I have seriously said it so many times. I don't even know which one's his last name. Bosley.
I think it's
It's
Bosley.
Bosley. Yes, it's Bosley. Yes.
But yeah, this one's doing pretty well. 360,000, 4,000, over 4,000 backers. Week to go. And yeah, this is actually maybe doing better than I thought it would because I know people had had a chance to play it, and I thought on Board Game Geek the rating was about like a 6.8 or something, 6.7. So it wasn't like it was blowing things away. It wasn't like a bunch of people were rating it really, really high. So I was like, ooh, I wonder how this is going to actually work because, they put it on Board Game Arena before the Kickstarter launch. I was like, I wonder if this is going to work for them. I mean, maybe this is just how well it would have done, regardless of if they did that or not. I'm not sure. Maybe this is way better than they had expected. But I think it's doing pretty well. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a pretty simple game. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
where you're just trying to do some set collection, kind of delayed set collection. I don't know how to describe it exactly. You're trying to get the ones. Uh, there's different rocks or pebbles or glass, not rocks, pebbles, glass that you're trying to collect, and
yeah.
different shapes, different colors,
Yeah.
and you just try to. Some are more rare than others, and you have your board. You're trying to collect a lot of a certain color later on
Yes.
in your board as you're collecting. It's hard to describe.
So,
Trevor, you describe it.
So the first color that you collect is going to go into your first column. So as you see here, this person, or this one down here, their leftmost has some orange gems. If these would just sit still here. Okay, there we go. So the first gem they collected was a light blue one. So in that first column, any future light blue gems they collect by going to the river and taking tiles from these different spots. Future blue ones will stack up that column, and you don't want to do too many of them. So if you get over 5, that's going to go to an overflow, which will lose you points. So you want to manage that. And farther down the line, as you add more and more colors, at the end of the game, you score points for your highest columns. So in this case, you would score your white column, whatever point marker is in that 5th spot of that second column. And then if there's a tie, it goes the leftmost. So then your second highest would be this purple one, scoring points for what's under there. And they are much more valuable the farther to the right that you get.
Yes.
So you preferably want your tallest 2 columns to be the 5th spot on those rightmost 2 tracks, but that is pretty difficult to get. You also score points for as far as you get in the rows, in each row as well.
Yeah, so there's kind of that little tug of war, fighting back and forth as to what you should get. So yeah. It's definitely an interesting game. Definitely on the easier, more approachable side, I would say, of games.
And okay, so I'll go to the edition. So the retail edition, $39. It's got cardboard river tiles here, acrylic gems, which I think would be pretty nice. Good colors. Hopefully they're able to tell apart. I think just single layer boards here. You go to the deluxe edition at $69. You get a neoprene mat for the river board here and acrylic tiles that you put the gems onto, and that slides perfectly on the play mat, it says there, which that could be cool. I feel like it should have a slot, but hopefully it does all slide pretty straight.
At least I like that comment of yes, it fits in the box.
Yes, it fits in the box. That is good, because that is one thing that keeps us from getting certain giant play mats for especially worker placement games. It's just too big. It doesn't even fit in the box. And you got to find a place. And an upgraded deluxe glass bag. I believe the glass pieces are the same. And then dual layered Glassworks boards, which I guess a pretty good upgrade there. Dual layered supply boards and upgraded inventory marker pieces, which they're nice. They're pretty adorable. But is it that needed? No, but is it worth it? Yes. Or you go to the Founders Edition, get a box sleeve, which is actually pretty nice. I do like that kind of.
Looks nice, but I think I'd rather just have the box look that way. I've had a couple sleeves on some games, and I think I've decided I don't like sleeves.
He doesn't like sleeves.
I don't think so.
Even shirt sleeves, he rips them off.
Haven't gotten to these ones yet.
Protesting. And then it upgrades the pieces into actual real glass pieces, which pretty cool. Add a little weight to it. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like acrylic would be pretty good by itself, but even better.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, it looks like you can really deluxify this game. From what we've played, I would say my personal opinion, it's a little bit probably simpler than I would like, and then at that
expansions
price point. That's true. There are
the expansions. They had variable powers, which is one thing that we wanted in this game. So each person can get an assistant, which looks like a few once per game abilities. Nothing too complicated, I assume. You can get equipment, which give you more abilities. A lot of these look like game end bonuses, I assume. Specific shapes, I assume, bonuses for getting certain shapes. Overflow, what you put in your overflow can actually score you points. Whatever this is, river treasures. I started not really going too much into these. I'm like, okay, there's a lot of mini expansions here. flooded markets. I think you don't want certain things in this one. Which I was just like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little mini expansions. I think that probably adds enough to this game where I'm
That's
actually
probably true.
a lot more interested in actually owning a physical copy because it was maybe just a little too simple as is base game.
That's fair. Those do add another level to it. That probably, yeah, that would be the only way I would probably buy it, um,
Yeah,
personally. But yeah, I still don't know if I would go. Trying to think if I'd pay $69
but
along with
$4 shipping.
shipping. Yeah,
That's
73. Uh, this might still be a little steep, but at the same
expansions are
time, if I don't have
free.
those double layered boards, I don't know if I'd get just the retail. Um, because
It'd
the double
be
layer board definitely make it. I don't need the glass beads or
no,
glass. I don't think.
it'd be better. But I guess what is it? What does it add up to? If you could get 2 base game copies, nope, it ends up being more expensive. So you get 2 of those, cut out some holes in some of the boards, and glue them on top of the other ones. Make your own. But if you only plan on playing 2 player, you can take 2 of the boards, cut chunks out, and make your own dual layered player boards.
That is true.
I'd have to do it.
That's
But
true.
yeah,
But
I'm
you're right.
interested.
Those expansions do add, and I
Yeah,
think those, in my opinion, are definitely needed for
yeah,
uh, kind of more replayability. Bring it to kind of that at least medium weight level.
yeah, for sure. Another medium weight game that is very popular. I wonder if that one is going to become another Cascadia. People love nature, and
That's
Cascadia,
true.
it's going to be a whole franchise now. We've got the rolling version, the roll and write version of Cascadia. Another
Pretty soon
one,
we're gonna get the card game.
6,764 backers.
People got a lot of money burning
Yeah,
hole in their pocket.
burning holes. Except these aren't too expensive. $19 for one of them or
Yeah.
both of them. We'll see. Let's just see here. So you can get $1. Just follow along. $10 for print and plays. Okay, so 19 for each, I believe. And
Or 35 for both. Get
individually,
a little discount.
35 for both of them. So yeah, not too bad.
Gonna deliver pretty quickly, August 24. So I assume that means they already have them pretty much done or are going to print them almost immediately following this, if they
Yeah,
don't have them already. Yeah, this
yeah,
is based on Cascadia, which is a game we really both love, and it it looks interesting. I think I like verb and write games more than I know some people are uh, kind of sick of the genre at this point, which is definitely fair because a lot of games have a roll and write version outside of just games that are just roll and write, so we're
yeah,
never board games to begin with, or like bigger games to begin with.
yeah,
Um, so I could definitely see that, but yeah, this one's probably got my attention. I don't know that I'm going to back it because I think this should be easily available after the fact, and I would think I'd pay probably around the same amount,
yeah. I
if
think
not
so.
possibly cheaper.
Probably,
If it goes
probably
on a
should be
deal.
able to. Yeah. But yeah, this one we probably will get it at some point. I don't know if it feel. I'm not getting like a Cascadia feel gameplay wise. Obviously, all the
Yeah.
iconography is reminiscent, but just gameplay wise, you roll central dice. You have your own personal dice as well, and you choose one of the animal types present, and you get all of those. So you can choose a hawk here and get 1 hawk, or maybe you choose the salmon and get 3 salmon. Record that on your inventory sheets, and eventually, I think spending those to fulfill these different cards, gaining bonuses to cross off on your map. I think there's a few different map sheets that work a little differently. They look pretty different from each
Mhm.
other. That doesn't feel like Cascadia to me, but
Yeah, that was I think that was the main reason why I wasn't like when I heard they were doing this, I was a lot more excited, and then when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is really Cascadia outside of the obvious artwork and tie-in, uh, and symbology and stuff. But yeah, maybe once I played it, it would feel like it more. But yeah, I don't know that it's going to be the next Cascadia. It's not. I don't know if it's going to live up to quite as good as the original game,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it could still be a solid roll and write game. And yeah, it had each one of them, like you said, had kind of different maps and stuff that are
Yep.
all done looked a little bit different. I didn't look exactly at how each of them are played, and I think you can play up with up to 8 players if you have both. I didn't fully understand why you needed to have both to do that because
Yeah.
I thought they were like yeah sheets and stuff. So I'm like I don't know why you wouldn't be able to use the same ones. I guess I didn't look at it or look into it
Yeah.
that closely. There might be a reason why you can't use the same
I
one
guess
or
I
something.
guess the player dice probably.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's probably
But
right.
it looks simple. I'm interested in it. I'm interested in a bunch of roll and writes, and if it shouldn't work, but if it's an existing series that I do enjoy, even if it's got nothing to do with it, I'm interested. But it is the same designer, I believe. Randy
Yep,
Flynn
Randy Flynn.
designed this one as he did the original Cascadia. So the same mind behind it, which is a little pretty reassuring, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And then yeah, the shipping isn't too bad.
Yeah.
Oh wait, actual cost. Why is that cross? Oh, actual cost 16.
Uh,
Only 14 if you got both copies, or 9 if you got one. Looks like
yeah.
so. Not too bad of shipping, but it definitely adds a little bit to it for roll and write game. But yeah, that one's going to deliver pretty quickly. That'll be here before we know it. Uh, Guessing since it says August, they're going to probably have this at Gen Con this year.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's when Gen Con is. So my guess is that's where they're going to definitely be selling it. I would think. I would hope because
I hope so.
Cascadia is probably one of their top selling games, at least currently. So hopefully they have it there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is everything this week. Currently not backing any of them, but there are a lot of solid projects, and I can see why so many of them are doing so well. We got millions of dollars pledged here, and
Yeah.
uh, just
Tens
kind
of
of crazy.
thousands of backers.
Yes. Trying to think which one would I say is
I
my
don't know.
favorite. Maybe I feel like the Galactic one might have the best chance of
Yeah.
be like sticking out possibly for me, but at the same time, is it?
River Valley Glassworks actually, I mean,
We have played it and it
I
works and
played it. I
it's
enjoy
fun.
it. I like feel like playing it more in the future, and with those extra things, if they don't put those expansions on BGA, might be forced to. And I think Mac would probably enjoy it as well. That's
Yeah,
another
that's true.
reason.
It is definitely on the approachable side. And I think even with those, it would still be approachable, and you wouldn't necessarily have to play with all of those
Yeah.
all at once or anything. You could definitely teach someone the game without having any of those, and then be like, oh, do you want to maybe try because with so many options of what you could add, some of those are going to be easier than others as well to explain. And it'll be like, oh yeah, just do this, and then you're wanting this shape or color or whatever more than others. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, once again, if you made it this far, give us a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel. We'd love that. We'd love to get to 1,000 subscribers. Otherwise, let us know what you're backing. And yeah, otherwise, we hope to see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on our content.